My dog can't decide whether she's in or out today. How's it going, guys? Hope you guys are all well. Okay, now she wants to go out. Oh my gosh. What's up, YouTube? How is everybody doing today? So, Kilohearts Convolver. It's been a while that I've had to be quiet about this thing. It is really, really phenomenal. Hey, Signs of Life. How are you doing, dude? If you guys are into ambient, side chill, and you're looking for sound design tips and tricks, check out Signs of Life channel. It was a recent discovery of mine. Very, very good stuff. What's up, YouTube? Anyway, Kilohearts Convolver, my guys, this thing. So what I want to do is I just want to strip this patch back. I'm sure you guys heard it looping for a while. I'm going to strip it back to just a raw sine wave. And then we're going to play around a little bit with the new Kilohearts Convolver. For those who don't know what convolution is, it's basically the original concept of convolution was designed. Hello, Vlad ArtSense. How are you doing? Hello again. The original concept was to be able to capture the sound of an acoustic space. And the way that they do that is by running, for example, like a sine wave through, like playing a sine wave in a cave, for example, recording the resulting sound, and then removing by using a mathematical function, removing the original sine wave from the recording. And what you get is an impulse response. So it's essentially the sound of the space. And a convolution reverb is a reverb that's designed for you to load in those impulse responses and apply them to an incoming signal. So essentially, the process is taking a recording, removing the sound from the original recording, and placing in your own sound and doing funky mathematical things to make it sound basically like the sound that you have is in the cave that that original sound was recorded in. Are you guys following? Cool. So the interesting thing about the Kilohearts Convolver is it's not just a convolution reverb. It is a lot more of a sound design tool. Lil Davis, do you happen to have Isotope Trash? Their convolution textures are amazing. Bro. The library that this plugin comes with is the selling point, in my opinion. So, like, the plugin itself is great, and I like the fact that it's super simple, and it's, like, quite user-friendly. You know, a lot of convolution stuff is, like, it's way too complex. It's like, what the fuck is actually going on here? This is straightforward and to the point, like every other Kilohearts plugin. It's actually a little bit more advanced than a lot of the other stuff. So, Dada, regarding keeping their stuff secret, how are you able to hide the beta stuff? I'm assuming here that you have beta access. I do. So, for the beta users, we actually have two versions. You'll see here I've got Faceplant Beta, and then I've got Faceplant. I'm not allowed to open this in public. You guys know, I mean, for those who actually follow the Kilohearts stuff, like, you know what the features are that are coming. But I don't really want to get into it because there's a couple of things that still need to be ironed out. And if I get too into a certain thing, that might still change. The video will be up forever, etc., etc. So I'm waiting for the go-ahead from them. But that's how I'm able to keep it a secret, is the stuff before it actually gets released into, like, for example, V1.8, it's in the beta plugin first. So that's how the beta testers are able to do the kind of thing, the two-in-one thing. Anyway, so where was I? The library that this thing comes with is the selling point. There are so many cool things beyond the idea of just reverbs. Coco, the way you explain technical stuff is so clear. Thanks a lot. I try to make it like so a lot of people, when they do tutorials, they just faff on about like jargon. And a lot of people that are learning stuff, they don't know all these technical terms. So it's my job to kind of break it down for you guys and make it sort of demystify things, make it seem like it's less technical than it actually is, if you know what I mean. And it's very much to do with like the language that you use and stuff. It's actually quite it's quite an interesting topic on its own. Anyway, beyond just the idea of just capturing a reverb space, the fact that they've got like some of their other plugins, like the phase response, the impulse response of some of the other plugins. For example, like there's a disperse, which is a disperser with an envelope. Which one is which? So there's like disperse up and disperse down or something like that. All sorts of weird things. So they've basically created weird like effects chains, made impulse responses out of those. There's some more experimental stuff like I believe this dying AI was actually made in an FM synth and then EQ'd and all sorts of things. So it goes a lot further beyond the idea of a reverb, like I'm trying to say. It's a sound design tool, first and foremost. But other interesting things about it is you can kind of set it to work as a delay because it's got a feedback. So technically, let me actually just choose something a little bit more, not dying AI. Something a little bit more, okay, art museum. So here, if we just dial the mix down a bit. So technically, that's like the impulse response of whatever art museum it was recorded in. But now, if we set a pre-delay here, say for example like 3/16, and then put up the feedback, it delays the signal and then feeds it back into itself, which then delays again and keeps feeding back. So you're creating an echo effect doing this. But the echoes are within that impulse space. So it's like a mix of a reverb, like hyper-realistic reverb and an echo. So it's almost like, I don't know, it's you guys just imagine the sound design capabilities of something like this, being able to just take a simple sine wave and have it like bouncing off inside an art museum. Yeah, very cool ideas. But yeah, going into like the more experimental stuff, like let's say for example dying AI. Let's listen to what this sounds like on a sine wave. I want to turn the feedback down and the delay down on here so we can get like a full effect of like what this is actually doing to the sound. So, I think what we could do is just start to piece together a track. I want to show you guys how cool it is on for creating drums, because you could take, for example, like a sample and apply these different spaces on even like a multiband level with something like multipass or something like that. The stretch parameter, that's where the fun begins. Talk boxes, yeah, I've been wanting to get into those. So you have got various parameters here in terms of like being able to offset like the beginning and end points of the samples which are used as the impulse responses. You got fade in and fade out time, so you can actually like fine tune the parameter, like the actual reverberation quite heavily. But then the stretch basically like obviously stretches it out in time. So you can, it's probably going to be more noticeable on something like a traditional reverb sound. So let's just go with like, what was it again? Art Museum. Yeah, unfortunately you can't automate the stretch function because it's like, you can see it does like background processing there. It kind of like loads a little bit. That being said, it's quite snappy. So it does respond in real time, whereas most other convolution plugins I've used don't respond in real time. I believe it's because it does like pre-compute a lot of these things like the stretches and stuff beforehand. But try most other convolution plugins that have a stretch capabilities, and when you move that stretch, the plugin loads for a couple of seconds before it actually applies the sound. Like here, you can actually hold it, so technically you could record it live and apply that effect. I mean, there is a little bit of artifacts and stuff, but you can still do it. When did Convolver get released? Is it brand new? A couple of hours ago, bro. Yeah, it's brand new. So, yeah, what should we do today? What kind of vibe? Should we go with like a chill out kind of thing? Touch Me by Playtronica as a Christmas gift. The touch music instrument. Metal pot filled with water. Oh, dude. Connected to a metal pot. What? Is that one of those like noise machine things? I think I've seen those. Okay, maybe we should put up a poll. Let's put up a poll for genre. Let's vote on the genre that we're going to make today. What genre? So what did you guys... I think I can add 4 options. We had a vote for synthwave, techno, chill out, drum and bass. I do psytrance all the time, guys. Like, let's just try something a little bit different today. See if I can even nail it. Because I mean, all the time, like, you guys just end up telling me, oh, it just sounds like psytrance anyway. So I mean, I might as well try another genre, and then it sounds like a mix of some psytrance and something. Then you guys learn like a little bit of psytrance and a little bit of something else. Do you know what I mean? Bush techno. Is that like psytrance? I think Convolver is actually great for techno because of the fact that, with techno, a lot of that like sound is you're trying to capture the sound of like an acoustic space, like the fucking concrete warehouse or wherever it is. Okay, it looks like we're doing techno today, my dudes. The sound of the kick drum in a lot of the like techno that we hear nowadays, it sounds like what cleaner techno would sound like being played in like a warehouse or something like that. Hey Franz, how you doing? The thing is, like, I'm gonna make music that's gonna end up sounding like Psy anyway, so I might as well try something else, and then we kind of learn a bit of both worlds. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so let's try create like just quite a simple sine kick, and then we're gonna use Convolver to like create like a rumble that we can kind of use as like a base layer for the track, and try kind of maybe use an LFO to kind of like both within phase plant, like one patch of phase plant, use an LFO to kind of like sequence that rumble in and out. I think that could be interesting. Always has been, bro. Always has been. People are only just tuning in now. Bro, you sent me that thing like 5 minutes ago. Like, I literally haven't even had a chance. Okay, well, to be fair, like, I installed Convolver, but... Just smash the dynamics. We don't need any dynamics in the kick. We just need to... We're making hard techno. We just need to... So I reckon the idea here is to... Good afternoon, Mr. Greedo Kenobi. How are you doing? And the idea here is to create like... What am I doing? I'm getting ahead of myself. to create a parallel lane here. So what we can do is we can actually create like another output, set this to lane 2, and then on this one we put the convolver. Let's just choose Art Museum for now. So then this one sends to lane 3, this one sends to lane 3. Oh, there we go. And now we can squash it again. But now I reckon we make an LFO to modulate like a gain on this layer, so that we could just do this, but I actually like to put one here and use the percentage mode to modulate this reverb in and out to kind of sidechain it to the kick. There we go. Right, this thing is perfect. What the fuck? It's perfect. Dude, where's Techno Viking? Where is he? Sounds like a kick playing in an empty warehouse. That's what techno is basically. It's just a kick drum in an empty warehouse for a couple of days. Then maybe like the sound of somebody hitting some tin cans. Ting, 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 ting. Maybe we can actually stack 2 convolvers, because this one has like a nice bass rumble, but I want some of that as well. Do you know what I mean? That like full on, like the warehouse is full of metal stuff. Not just garage. We need a garage. That sounds like a plan. No, not quite. it's almost got like a dum 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 going on there. LFO tool on everything, basically. Okay, what next? Should we... Okay, I've saved that patch, so we can actually just delete that, make a new thing here. Should we make like a big techno saw? Like a detuned unison thing. Oh, that's nice and big. That's nice. You're always free to ask random questions, bro. What? What is that you're talking about, Franz? I don't know what that is, dude. I've never heard of that. So here's a cool thing that you might not know about the Kilohearts things, about the fact that like the mix and the mix. So like if you mix this up and you can use this one then as the mix and use effects afterwards to fine tune the tone of the tail of the sound. So like there's too much lows and stuff in that tail. So we can use filters to like fine tune that. Let's say, for example, remove some of the mids, remove some of the lows. Then this mix becomes the mix of the reverb. So my favorite trick for creating hi-hats and stuff like quickly within Faceplant is to just white noise and transgate. So simple, so easy. The coolest thing here is you just set this to a number that's like a prime number or like not 4s and 8s. And you get really cool polymetric things like numbers like 7 and 13 and stuff create cool polymetric things because they create different rhythms every time they loop around and stuff. So I think here, if we set the slope, we get a different noise, something that's a little bit more high frequency, but we can also actually just put like a filter just to kind of like tune that noise a little bit. Why does this sound like it's not syncing? That's weird. What even is that? It's like doing granular things to the sound. Now it's like a dubstep bass. This really is the most insane plugin. Like, it's unassuming, it really is. But the fact that you can just take white noise and turn it into like a dubstep yoink. I mean, what the fuck? I'm done. I don't need to do sound design anymore. Like the fact that like you just like white noise into a thing, play around with some things. This is insane, guys. And now it's light once again. Full rides are coming. The thing with rides is very hard to synthesize. Like if you're going for a ride sound, it's like one of those things where it's like you kind of have to experiment for a little bit until you get that zing. So rides, I generally go with samples. But we're gonna get to samples and what this thing can do to samples. We're gonna get there, lads. We're gonna get there. Has it been an hour already? Holy shit. Cool, dude. See you. No, dude, the difference is the amount of reverb. It's the tempo and the amount of reverb. No, I'm joking. Yeah, it's got very much to do with the with the ride, I think. And you say my project. I need to BRB real quick. Maybe we can make like a delay out of this reverb for these claps. I mean, out of the convolver. Every techno track starts out with just like the transient of the kick for a couple of bars, just so people can mix. That's what it is, bro. It's the counting so that the people can mix in the next track. We just need an ARP that's got nothing to do with the melody or the pitch whatsoever, just blah, 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 doing random things. Then the track is done. I think this should just be dum-dum, nothing else. We should just completely simplify it. Like, we're getting too technical here with these notes. We only need the root note and +1. That's all we need. Like, we're making techno, guys. I think there's too many hats happening, claps. This should happen every second time. Yeah, we're even giving it away too early here. This can be another 32 bars or so before hats even come in here. We can stretch this out, eh? This could be a full 9-minute track with what we've just have here, I think. Okay, now I'm pushing it. Exactly, bro. Techno pop. No, -2. That's progressive techno, dude. Okay, I'm gonna be right back. I'll see you gents shortly. Okay, now the challenge. Write an ARP. There is no musical context whatsoever. Do we even tune it? Yeah, let's start where it has musical context, then we'll just change things. And it's probably going to be easier. Yep, that's it. Just those 4 notes. On repeat. That's it. We're done. Ah, perfect. Every techno track ever. Maybe we detune it slightly at the end there. Kind of getting a bit of a Boris Brejcha vibe now, eh? Dooby 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 dooby. Oh yeah, so guys, the idea of impulse responses, running a sine wave through a thing, deconvolving it, removing the sine wave, and having the resulting signal can be used on much more than just acoustic spaces, like I was saying. It can be used on effects. It can be used on guitar cabinets, which is pretty interesting. So here are a bunch of like guitar cabinet stuff which you can kind of use to inject the tone of a guitar cabinet onto a particular sound. So this is cool for making like a sample of a guitar sound like it's being run through an actual cabinet. Or if you have like an actual guitar and you want to create your own custom amp sims, you can do it with Convolver, which is really cool. So here I'm using the Convolver to create like almost like a filter with that custom tweed effect, which is the amp sim or whatever. And now we can use it again to kind of create a reverb / delay kind of thing on the end of the train. I wonder what the young Grateful Dead would have thought about convolution stuff. I'm pretty sure Don Buchler was onto it with his ideas behind like the Buchler 200E and stuff like that. There's a lot of weird synthesis stuff happening in Buchler's designs, which I'm sure a lot of, maybe not like the exact idea of convolution came from, but a lot of the like modern FFT processing and stuff like that comes from Buchler ideas. And Buchler was very much behind designing a lot of the synths and stuff that the Grateful Dead used on tour. So interesting you mentioned that. do you mean be careful, my dude? That's the reason why oaks are buying Buchla. That's the reason why the price went up, dude. That's the reason they're so expensive now. Because of the free dose. I feel like our bass thing is like out of tune. Like the kick is in tune, but the rumble, I don't know. What do you guys think? I need to stop thinking about tune. What am I doing? I'm thinking too musical. Does it sound like it's in a warehouse? Yes, we good. We need like a tuned down vocal here. Something like minus a few semitones. And then the drop comes. Let's just render this out. In the next episode, what would Dash do after that? I don't know. I don't know about this kick bass thing. I don't know. I'm in two minds. What do you guys think? Maybe we can kind of slowly develop on this lead. Like as it loops, we add one note and then add another note in the next bar or something like that. You know what I mean? Cubase looks kind of annoying. Sorry, what, my dude? It doesn't look like Microsoft Excel, bro. Dude, the included IRs in Convolver are the selling point in my opinion. Even if you're just going to use a different plugin, bro, the impulse responses in here are so sick. They are so sick. The idea is like hypnotic. You must make it as hypnotic as possible. So just like relentless. Can you wish my buddy Ganval? How do you pronounce that? What country is he from? Maybe I can help pronounce. Maybe that'll help me pronounce that correctly. Happy birthday, whoever you are. I think we need to make like a effect. A warehouse. That sounds like we're on the right track here. Hey, Asti Fassi, how are you doing? It sounds so industrial. Very nice. Thank you. I'm glad I managed to nail that specific adjective that you mentioned, industrial, because like the sounds, like the spaces and stuff, I don't know, it's like hard to explain, but like I'm trying to capture the sound of space in this track as opposed to the sound of music, if you know what I mean. And that's what convolvers are really, really good at doing. Unfortunately, there's no freeze function. But the stretch gets pretty close. The stretch gets pretty close to a freeze function, to be honest with you. But it doesn't give that never-ending sound. It doesn't go on forever. Does that make sense? I haven't quite found a solution to something that freezes quite as well as that Arturia reverb, to be honest with you. But Cloud Seed is free, and it's got that hyperplane setting. It doesn't freeze, but it's just incredibly huge reverb. So I end up using that more because it's easier to modulate and automate than automating the freeze on and off, if you know what I mean. we should probably check out some of these more experimental things and look at it on other stuff like loops and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll be right back and I'll think about a couple of ideas while I enter the bathroom real quick, and I'll loop this for you guys. Okay. Let's look at just some more experimental stuff, like maybe just on loops and that kind of thing. So less in the context of like this track. Let me find some cool loops. Oh, that is very nice. Very nice loop that is. That sounds like a whole Tool track. Just loop that for 9 minutes with an ARP on the guitar. Tool. Spongle all of a sudden. Spongle, eat your heart out. Yes, you are able to load your own WAV files into Convolver. Actually, that's what I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be experimenting here, but now I'm busy fucking warping WAV files. Can you believe it? So I've got my own folder of impulse responses. If you guys know of a thing called the Bricasti M7, it's like the most expensive reverb known to man. I managed to somehow find a bunch of these impulse responses on the internet. So like these are, for example, like it's supposed to be like the best reverb, but I mean, whatever, a reverb is a reverb. It is pretty good though. How cool is it though that we can like just convolve a single frequency band though? So if we kind of take this kind of out of the reverb context by stretching the thing a bit shorter, we're just imparting the tone of that very expensive reverb onto the mid-range of this loop. So these here, these phase ones, these are very interesting on low end because you can create some very weird effects by modulating this like delay and stuff. So you can also get experimental and load stuff that's not an impulse response into here. For example, I wonder, yeah, so like a harmonica sound, for example. I'm not sure why, because it's a bit weird, but you can do it. Oh, it does some crazy things when you modulate. I wish you could modulate that, but you can't. It's too much calculations happening there. But you can record it out, like I said, because it does do it in real time. That's a violin sample loaded as an impulse response on the low end of this drum loop. It sounds like one of those videos, you know, that's like those meme videos where it's like, it's got Dave Grohl playing guitar and it's just all the wrong sounds that they edit in, you know? Oh, that's so nice as a delay. That bad flanging IR. It's almost like a granular delay of some kind. Oh, it's like a Xenon bass now. Oh my gosh, this thing is unbelievable. I'm gonna A-B it. I still kind of feel like that bass thing, summing up with the tuning there. What do you guys reckon? It's just when it comes in, it's not as like oomph as it should be. What do you guys reckon? It's like the kick is nice when it's just that transient in the breaks and stuff. But I feel like it needs more like oomph. I want to do the out of the room test. I'm going to go stand in the passage. I think I'm overthinking it a bit. From out there, it sounds nice. Always a compressor on kick and snare. Always. Every single time. There's this nice like implied rhythm thing that these tablets have, which I think we could maybe do like a little melody type of thing. Not quite a melody, but like a synth thing. So let's see what we can do here. Maybe even just like a simple pluck. Oh, the mic. Okay, this is interesting. There's filters here. So we could create like a filtered delay using the filter impulse response. Bro, fucking science, bro. Yeah, you heard that heavy breathing. You heard that. You fucking heard that heavy breathing, dude. Okay, let's get into the formants though. This is like, okay, everything, all of the impulse responses in here are fucking amazing, but like, yeah. Let's just get into some of them. Yeah, man, it's so unassuming. It's so much more than meets the eye, and I can't believe how they've managed to package such a powerful thing into such a simple interface. Like, so many other convolution stuff is like so complex. It's so convoluted. It's so convoluted. But this has it all. I don't find myself limited in terms of the sound shaping capabilities. Maybe even to the opposite. But it's just so simple. There's like 3 knobs and a couple of other settings, and that's it. Oh, guys, time for some MPE stuff, I think. Yeah. It's happening. Yes. That just sounded... Oh. That was... Yes. Maybe let's just put like a traditional reverb on here, just to like smoothen the edges a little bit. And then we can put in some chords. We can set the poly pressure to do a couple of things within the patch, and we can get really experimental with it. I'm going to move this over the side. So, I'm getting the hang of this. We set this to any. I believe in Faceplant it's just automatic. The MPE thing. The cool thing is that the effects can actually be set. You can modulate the effects in Faceplant and MPE as well, which is pretty crazy. You just have to set that up. So let's put in one note, and then let's put in... What were the chords I was doing? And then it was the 8th. This one here. What other note was I playing? And then it was the octave 5th. That one. They each need to be on their own MIDI channel. So let's say MIDI channel 2, MIDI channel 3, and MIDI channel 4. Okay, polyphonic is enabled. So let's just solo this channel. And what we probably want to do is, what we can do is we can create like groups. So we can like, I'm pretty sure this pressure, is this not, or am I wrong? That's channel aftertouch. You're right, man. You're right. You're right. Hey, man. Why am I teaching the things, Jason? You should be up here teaching the things. Well, I mean, you know, there's nothing stopping us from Old Faithful. We can load up a Vital and let's just put convolvers and stuff on Vital. I mean, why not? Snap heap multipass for the win. There I go, adding a faceplant. What is going on here? Instrument, let's add a Vital. You know what? I need to make macros to add a faceplant and a Vital. So I don't have to go through that list every time. Let's go. Blam. We can... I like that patch though. We might use that. Is there too much happening in the project though? Ugh, you know what? It was simple. Cheers, bud. Any. Pop this open. MPE enabled. Okay. Let us pressure on the volume. Let's see what happens here. Cool. We're getting somewhere. Maybe we can slide this note up. We can try slide this note up one semitone, and we can try slide this note down one semitone, because those would still be, they'd kind of swap place in that chord. Let's maybe try and make a patch that actually sounds good first, because this is a little bit grinding. So sliding single notes is sometimes a little bit difficult with the interface. Maybe I just haven't figured things out correctly. So let's actually go here and enable the poly pitch bend and double click on the note. I don't believe there's a way to actually draw in, like, maybe we can draw in dots. No, you see, it like, how can I say? Let's just say, find the 0, which is like no pitch bend. There. Let's see if we can draw in a curve. Oh, we're going to have to turn off grid so it doesn't snap. Oh, we just want to do one note though. See, now it's tough to find that one note because of the color scheme. Maybe you guys know of like a hack. Let's just see. For those who don't understand what MPE is, and what I'm trying to do here is, MPE is the ability to pitch bend and apply modulation and stuff to different notes in a chord. So what I'm trying to do here is I've got a chord playing with 4 notes, and I'm trying to slide just one of the notes up a semitone. Guys, your X-Files, hey, fuck, X-Files. That the original series is one of my single favorite ever viewing fiction things I think I've ever seen in my entire life. The original, I think it was 7. How many seasons were there in the original before they re-released the new ones in, I think, 2019 or whatever? Or however many. How many? I think it was 7 seasons. It's the best. So good. So fucking good. What if we just parallel all the convolvers? So we like just running the sound through all the different spaces. Why don't we just do that? Oh, that sounds amazing. Favorite reverb and or delay plugin you frequently use? I guess it depends what kind of stuff I'm looking for. If I want to quickly create like ambience and stuff, Cloud Seed is usually my go-to reverb. But now for weird textural stuff, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be turning to Convolver most of the time. For delays, Color Copy, I love that. Otherwise, just creating whatever delay I need within Snap Heap and Multipass and stuff, you know. You can stack stuff up really nicely, being able to do that with a bunch of other effects and stuff like pitch shifters, frequency shifters, and all that kind of thing. You can basically create any other type of delay that you need, you know. Just rendering some stuff to make the project a little bit lighter. There's a lot happening in that MPE thing with the Vital patch. Convolver is the new reverb. Those IRs probably all. It's everything and the kitchen sink, dude. Those IRs are really, really, really good. Even just for experimental stuff, putting tones on things, using it more as like filters and like preamp type of things. Ah, dude, there's so many use cases that I'm coming up with. Don't forget to turn off the like vintage mode, the noise floor mode, hey, Cider. This is the sound before Convolvers. I mean, it's a pretty cool sound. But then this just blurs all edges of reality. So funny, the difference. I'm gonna be right back, guys. I reckon I'll probably call it a day soonish. Unless you guys want to see anything else. But I'm digging this chill out vibe. Let's see, did I miss any questions? Maybe I should just do a little questions and answers thing at the end here while this just randomizes. Maybe I can let it play for you guys while I answer some questions. How's the volume on that? Lou, I wish there was a way like that in FL Studio to draw notes as pitch curves. Most of those curves that you were seeing were poly pressure. There was a little bit of pitch stuff happening there, but it's called MPE. I'm pretty sure. Let me just check. MPE in FL Studio. Okay, no, it doesn't seem like there is MPE support in FL Studio. Literally hear Mulder screaming in my head. I want to believe, bro. You are the reason why I bought it, by the way, and for the same reason I will subscribe to Kilohearts. I'm glad, Psiger. Well, I'm not glad that you're spending your money because of me, but I'm glad that I have positive influence in your life. What does the randomizer in Convolver do? The problem is that I keep getting such good sounds as soon as I start playing with it that I don't even want to touch the randomizer. And it doesn't even have... Let's just save this. Call it Everything is Molecules and Stuff. Everything is Molecules and Stuff. Space. The Final Frontier. Okay, it doesn't seem like it randomizes any of the stretch features, just the time, feedback, and that kind of stuff. Although that being said, I wasn't doing much with the stretching. Oh, there we go. CPU is dying. I broke something. It's not a true Dash Glitch stream until I break something. I know Ableton. What is MPE? MIDI polyphonic expression. It's basically the ability to send. So, you know, like with MIDI, you have pitch bend and you have modulation. Traditionally, those are a monophonic thing. So if you play a chord and you pitch bend it, then all of the notes in the chord pitch bend simultaneously. But with things that have MPE support, you're able to pitch bend things independently. So two notes could bend in opposite directions. You guys, I'm sure you've seen that Roly C-board, and there's other stuff that does MPE as well. I think Psiger mentioned the Hydrasynth. What's the other big MPE thing? Hacken Continuum. There's another big MPE company that does the MPE thing, but you don't need the controller to actually do it. It's actually like more precise doing it with like actually writing in the automation and stuff like that, I find. Jason Gilman, this is amazing. Thank you, dude. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, the Expressive E. Expressive E does one as well. That's an MPE controller, you're right. A nice chill moment for the end of that industrial techno stream. How did we get from there to this introspective moment? This beautiful moment in time. So that's the kind of cool thing about MPE, is that you kind of have this feeling that these notes, it's so one of the whole reasons why I kind of stepped away from, why I've kind of been so enamored by modular synthesis, is it kind of like the ideas in modular synthesis kind of break away from the confines of a DAW. Stuff like MIDI, you know what I mean? As much as it's the enabling tool that enables us to create the music that we create, it's also a very limiting thing when we think about the fact that sound doesn't have to be constrained within 12 notes or 8 notes within a scale or whatever. You can bend between those as long as there's kind of a final destination that makes musical sense. Do you know what I mean? And that was one of the main reasons why modular synthesis kind of like called me, is because of the fact that it kind of breaks the link between triggers and pitch. Is they're kind of two completely separate ideas in the modular synth world, where pitch can be moving completely independently and your triggers can be doing a completely separate thing. And while some plugins like do kind of capture that pretty well, the fact that like with a modular synth, you can very easily create a sound which has one oscillator which kind of floats in and around space, while there's another oscillator that kind of floats and does its own thing. So it's very easy to create these sounds which are doing these infinite loops, you know. And within the confines of traditional MIDI, the moment you start trying to pitch bend things and stuff like that, you're very confined, because your entire chord will pitch bend or something like that. So now, stuff like phase plant and all sorts of stuff like that allows you to create these patches, which you could set modulation and do all sorts of stuff. So you don't need those. You don't need to do it in the MIDI. However, then you're limited to the fact that you kind of have to do everything within the patch, and you can't write these compelling things that kind of just melt in and out of each other. Do you know what I mean? And I think that was, for me, the most exciting thing about starting to delve into MPE, is that it's that similar, a Sensei Morph, that's the one as well, yes, another MPE controller, is that it's that same level of excitement where you can start designing sound between the lines and making music between the lines, like similarly to how you can in the analog world or with a modular synth or whatever. And I think that's super interesting. So you guys should definitely, I mean, I'm planning a couple of videos on MPE stuff. I don't want to give away too much, but stuff that's kind of like how to do it with hardware and how to do it with just software and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely something that I think everybody can take advantage of, not only for the pitch thing, just the movement as well. Like having each of these sounds here, these blue wavy lines, this is filter movement. So like, for example, traditionally when we make a patch, not necessarily. So here, wrap your head around this. Each of these blue lines is a filter movement. So here you've got two voices, and in traditional synths, those two voices would run through one filter, and you would be confined to one cutoff filter movement. Whereas here you have the ability to move each of them independently. And that already is like mind-blowing, you know? The fact that you've got control over multiple parameters per note. It's like, that's kind of what creates this like wavy infinite vibe that you're hearing. The patch itself is relatively simple. I mean, if we just play a single note, let me turn off some of these reverbs and things though. Very soft. Like a simple patch, but the whole idea is the fact that like you can move those things independently to create that like that movement. Magical. I love it. But it's one of those things where, like, you know, within the world of psytrance, there aren't so many uses for MPE except in like breaks and that kind of thing. So it's like one of those things where, for me, exploring it has been one of those things where I haven't really been able to incorporate too much of it within the music that I make. But for this kind of like infinite loop ambient type of stuff, it's like you can make a thing like a little loop like this, let it play, and it kind of feels like it's a different thing every time it kind of goes around, because your brain is following. It's almost like if your brain tries to follow a single pattern, there's like 8 of those patterns going, so each time it loops around, you're following a different one, and you know what I mean? So it's like you're creating these complex patterns, but without overcomplicating the sound, which I think is key to getting something very simple to loop over and over again and sound compelling every single time, you know? Anyway, I think I'm going to call it a day. It's been an absolutely awesome stream. I hope you guys enjoy Convolver as much as I do. I do have a couple of videos that I'm going to be doing on it with more specific sound design things. There's a very interesting concept that I want to get through using it. Three vocals with MPE. You mean like being able to like pitch shift voices independently, that kind of thing? I think that would be really cool. But yeah, I was thinking the capabilities of, like within Faceplant 2.0, once MPE gets fully incorporated, you'll be able to make almost like an entire track and with a single instance of Faceplant, and just use like MPE to tune and modulate the different voices. Oh man, it's just imagine, just think about the possibilities. Like, you could have one instance of Faceplant and have like one low note that's your fundamental that tunes your kick and your bass, and then you could have another note that's like a slightly higher one, and then you've got separate modulations on that one that just apply to the filter of the synth. And then you could have like another layer with different modulations. Can you guys even believe that? Like the possibilities. And this has been available for so long, people just haven't tapped into it. Do you know what I mean? There's been plugins out that have MPE capability for a very long time, but it's just that the big ones, like Faceplant, Serum, and Vital, they've only started picking up on it recently, and I think that's why it's suddenly becoming a thing. But yeah. Wow, 75 likes. Damn, guys, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you do grab it, or you do check out the Convolver, and there's any way that you could let them know, like on a comment or whatever it is on social media, just tell them that Dash Glitch sent you. It'd be cool to just let them know. Who convinced them? Who convinced you? The Kilohearts guys are amazing. They do support me very, very much so. I've released sound packs with them and stuff, and yeah, I always enjoy doing content with and for them, with their stuff, because it's always super exciting. I think just the idea of their interfaces and stuff, it's incredible. Super simple, but just some of the most advanced plugins when you think about the entire environment that they're designed around, you know, with snap heap, multipass, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, incredible. FL has slide notes which allow linear interpolation of every note parameter, including pitch. It's like MPE Lite. Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, FL Studio has a thing where each note has got a thing where you can do like separate pannings and stuff. So there are a few parameters which are per note basis, but I'm not sure if you're able to actually draw in curves and stuff, different ones for each note, and whether the plugins themselves can actually receive that data. I think it's just the FL Studio plugins that can do like it's like panning and that kind of stuff. Awesome, guys. I'm going to call it a night. Thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been super cool. We made some sick tunes and something that we can just let loop forever. It sounds infinite. Yeah, it's been awesome. I'm going to let this loop for a couple of minutes while the outro screen does its thing. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.